functioning. So this way. I'm just going to take a few seconds to activate my IG Live. I hope the network is going to be good today. Amazing, great topic. Thank you, and thank you for joining in. I'm just going to take a few seconds to activate my IG Live. I think I'm having an Instagram live feed. I need to be sure that, oh, my IG live feed, my internet provider is good, so I don't know what's going on. So hello everyone, welcome to Life's Journey with Benedicta. I'm still trying to connect to my IG live. I don't know what's going on. Please darling, can you help me? It's not coming up. I don't know what's happening. Here. Let's see. That's the problem. Once it gets here, it just gets frozen.
It's not frozen.
I hope it comes up now. Skooky Pishon. Hello, thank you for joining in. I am Funky W. Thank you for joining in. So I'm live on my Instagram feed and I'm live on my YouTube feed. So if you see my eyes wandering from left to right, just know that I'm trying to connect with everyone. So thank you all for joining in, and this is Life's Journey with Benedicta. If you haven't watched our previous series, please do. Log on to www.youtube.com/tastebudzng and catch up on all our previous series. I promise you, you'll find them interesting and we would like to hear from you. Most of the discussions we have here on Life's Journey are interactive sessions. They are topics that a lot of us shy away from discussing, especially women, topics bordering on women-related issues, and would like to know what your take on these topics are, so we can discuss, so we can talk about them and come up with solutions. So on today's topic, we are going to be discussing cheating as it concerns women. Do women now cheat more than their male counterparts? Or has this always been the norm? Maybe the only reason why it is now in the fore, or it is now obvious, is because women now have financial prowess. They have educational qualification. Women are now more educated than they once were in the days of our mothers. So back in the day, if a woman should cheat, she will never talk about it, even if you put a gun to her head, because she sees her marriage as the only form of livelihood, her livelihood, the only form of maintenance. If she should be thrown out of her marriage, then her world comes crashing down. But now women have come to realize that they have a world outside of marriage. They have a world outside a relationship with a man. So maybe when they cheat now, they are more willing to talk about it. They are more willing to come out in the open and say, I did this. Maybe that is why we are now talking about women cheating, or we are seeing the cases of women cheating rising. It is now almost on par with male cheating. Some people might even debate that women cheat more than men, with the rate of DNA testings, failed or rather positive DNA test results that we have now. In marriages, we now have more married couples seeking for a DNA test, or we have more men seeking for a paternity test. Why would you want a paternity test in a union if you do not trust your wife? If you trust your wife, you shouldn't want a paternity test. So we have more men asking for paternity tests as a result of suspicion in a relationship. So that is one of the pointers that we are now seeing in this day and age. And that goes to say that we now have more women cheating on their spouses than it used to be. But another party might beg to differ by saying that women have always had their own fair share of cheating back in the day. The only reason why they were never caught was because we didn't have the paternity test. Back in the day, we didn't have a mode of doing the DNA testing. But today, if you're suspecting the paternity of a child, you can take up that child to a hospital and demand for a paternity test. So more women are now being caught in the act of cheating than it used to be. So we have different sides to this story, and I would like to have your take on it. I have a wonderful friend of mine that will be joining us. Her name is Binta_Ghana. Binta_Ghana is going to be joining us. She will be giving us her own take on this topic. We want to know if it's really true that women cheat now more than men, or men are still topping the charts. And we're also going to be discussing some of the reasons why women cheat. We're not going to go too deep into it, but we're going to be discussing some of the reasons why women cheat. So Binta_Ghana, if you're here, I'd like to invite you to join my live feed and give us your take on this subject. Do you think women cheat more than their male partners, or they are at par with their male partners? Binta_Ghana, are you here? Oh, she's here. So I'm going to invite her. She'll be coming to join us live. So I'm going live with Binta_Ghana. I'm waiting for her to join in. So we'll hear her take on this subject. Do women cheat more than their male partners, or the men are still topping the charts? Binta, are you here? So I'm waiting for Binta to join in. So while we're waiting for Binta to join in, what would you say is the reason, or what would you say are some of the reasons why women cheat? Let's assume they cheat. Binta, I'm waiting for you. Waiting for Binta_Ghana. Do you think it's the network? Oh, Binta is unable to join. Binta, I'm going to try to invite you again. Oh, finally. Hello, Binta. Oh my goodness. I am so happy to have you here on this show. It is my honor to have you here.
So it's mine as well. So it's mine as well. So we on today. So hopefully the network holds up.
Hopefully.
So
what's your take? What's your take on this topic? Do you think women have always cheated more than men, or they are at par, or we're just talking about it now? We're now talking more about it because we are brazen. Now women are more educated, they are more financially empowered. We believe we can own up to our mistakes or own up to the things we do and, talk about it. Is that why we're seeing more women, or we think women cheat now more than it used to be?
you know the famous thing with Maury COVID, you are not the father. So that's one big indication. So, I mean, when you break it down into the different generations, you have the S generation, which was the silent generation. That was the 20s, 40s, 50s. And then you have the X generation, which would be my generation. You're talking about 60s to the 70s. And then you have the millennial generation. Right? And then you have the
Gen Z
generation. Okay. So the silent generation never afforded women to be, we never had the freedom, so to speak. We were silent about everything. Whatever was done in secret. And the millennial generation, women started to get more empowered till today. So there's so many studies that show that. Why is it 40% more than men? Right?
Yes.
So let me go here.
We lost her.
Okay. Studies show that the infidel gender gap is narrowing amongst younger people. Take, for instance, a research study in Kinsey Institute in Indiana University with a survey of 918 men and women with an average age of 31, and found that these were non-significant gender differences that were reported, right? Infidelity, 3% of men versus 19% of women. Then there's the National Opinion Research General Social Survey, the GSS, which found that women between the ages of 18 and 19 were more
likely to cheat.
Right. Reasons for this uptick in women who are cheating. Some attributed to the increased responsibilities and therefore increased needs and wants of the modern day women. Right?
Yes.
You have the modern day women who traditional female duties, housekeeping,
child rearing, childbearing, and all that.
Demands of career and the equality. So
gender equality, gender parity. Yeah.
Financial men in managerial
positions.
Same as men. So they're on equal playing fields. So you have women, it's like, whatever you could do,
I can do it better.
Right? My husband goes out and cheats, comes home, everything is hunky-dory, we play house as usual. I could do the same thing.
Revenge. Yeah, revenge cheating.
Revenge cheating.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And a lot of women are like, I saw my mom take a lot of crap in her days. And I'm
I
not going to
will
be that
not do
woman.
that. I will not do
There
the
you go.
same.
So it's a lot of things that play into what this uptick of women, especially the freedom that women have today,
Today.
you know, and they're on equal playing fields, and the need to have that sexual equality.
Sexual equality, sexual freedom, sexual liberty.
Freedom
Yeah.
absolutely plays into all these
So it was never the fact that women never had the urge to cheat
of
in
course
the
they
20s and in the 30s. They always did, but it was suppressed.
completely
It was
suppressed.
completely suppressed. But
You
in
know,
this generation, with the
there's the freedom.
gender parity and gender equality
Feminist
equation, we're
movement,
bridging the gap. A lot of women now feel that liberty to
of
do
course,
exactly what they want to do.
they're completely liberated, especially the feminist movement. That has empowered them even more to such a degree that you cannot tell them anything. And then the Generation Z, the Gen Z generation, Jesus.
They are off, totally off the hook.
Sorry, Daddy Freeze, I said Jesus, but he's not Jesus.
They are off the hook. You
They're
see, like I'll always say, we have to be careful so the women are now not overcompensated. You know, our mothers, women in the 20s, 30s, 40s, they were suppressed. And now the millennial generation and the Gen Z are overcompensated, you know. They are now going way overboard,
completely taking it to
another
another.
level.
My son is saying that it's fashionable now for women to leave men on red, like you text them, and it's like, oh, just leave him hanging, you know.
Oh my God.
And where he and his friends, because we all talk a lot, it's like if you're dating a woman and she's like, do you have any other girls? No, I'm not that kind of guy. They don't want you. They want the competition. They want to know that you're the bad boy. They love the bad boy image.
And the one to be the best, the one to be the one you get to pick out of the lot.
Yeah, well, women have always been. We are always being chased, so we always have that power because we do what we do and sit back and like, he's gonna come after me. You know what I mean? Take for instance, if we cross over to the religious side of it, there's this lady. I don't know if you ever heard of her, Catherine. She's from the silent generation, Coleman. Benny Hinn, who was the
Catherine,
popular.
yeah, Kathleen Coleman, yes. Daughter of Destiny, I read her book. Daughter of Destiny, that's Kathleen Coleman. She wrote
I think
Daughter of
so.
Destiny, yeah, yeah.
So she, when she's preaching, would have nothing less than 10 to 20 people, at times 30 interceding while she's preaching. This lady was having an affair. Did you know that?
No, I never knew that.
Yes.
I
Yes, a lot
never
of
knew
people
that.
did. I mean, she was,
Oh
I don't
my.
know if she was looking at the road or whatever it was, but people are falling out in the whatever spirit they were falling. Well, she didn't exactly pull it out. She did pull it out, but people knew and people talked about it. And it didn't matter to them because they were all, charismatic preacher. Everybody sucked in with that, you know. So you look very beautiful, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. And you too. You look rested, you look good, even without the makeup. And with your hair tousled out, you still look good.
I have a little something on because I knew I was coming out, so I tried to look pretty for you.
You look good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Honestly, having you come out in such a short notice, I'm thrilled. You know, I was like, okay, should I give it a try? It's so short notice. Would she be able to make it? And you did. You
Of
did.
course, anytime, anywhere for you guys. I and myself, we adore you, and Daddy Freeze, of course. I call him, that's my brother from another mister.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I'm on his show, it's always fun. It's always, we have a good time, we kick it, but, this topic, I'm glad that I was able to participate because it's something that is trending, and I think the last time you had a show was on influences where women, are caught up with the media and what is shown and the Brazilian butt and the
Exactly.
the Botox, the this
We
and that.
really have to do a lot in terms of educating women to have better self-esteem, so they don't feel pressure to do things that are detrimental to their health.
And that's
Self-love. It is all about self-love. Learning to love yourself just the way you are. We have to do more talking, especially to the Gen Z generation. They just have this need to be perfect. They feel they just have to be perfect. So we're going to have a lot more people, or a lot more children from this generation wanting to have that perfect body, doing a lot of cosmetic surgery, and starting from a very early age. Statistics are already showing that at age 22, most women have undergone their first cosmetic surgery. And with our own generation, women started having cosmetic surgery after multiple births. But with this generation, they are already having plastic surgery before having any child. So it all has to do with self-esteem. They're not doing it because they feel something is amiss after having a baby. They just feel that they are not beautiful the way they are. I mean, it's sad because at 21, why should that be your priority?
Why should it be a priority?
At 21.
Seeking a career, getting your mind right, being focused.
Yes.
But you see, the hip hop culture too, and people watching Love Hip Hop Atlanta and all this nonsense, that influences them at what? And whether they're moral and social compasses. When you love yourself enough to know that, listen, I've had a couple of children, I'm a little fuller, or whatever, and to love and embrace. There was a lady in the education who made one statement, elevator with her, and she, my boyfriend says I'm gorgeous. That's something my husband never. And I looked at her, I'm like, you're married? Yes, I'm married, but my husband never told me I'm gorgeous. So that led her
into cheating.
She was nice shaped and everything. That led her into cheating.
Having an extramarital affair.
One gorgeous. So maybe if her husband paid enough attention to her,
that's it. Lack of emotional connection. When there's emotional connection in a relationship, women tend to cheat. She was emotionally dissatisfied with the kind of relationship she had with her husband. Yeah. I think we're back to you for a moment.
I was married to a habitual cheater.
Hmm.
And it's so crazy that when you're being cheated on, that's the time I was getting hit left and right, different men. And because I was lacking something, it never one day caused me to say I'm going to cheat. Why? Because I remember my mom had a lot of friends whose husbands were in positions of power, the elite back then. We were all from the elite back then. And a lot of these women's husbands that were in powerful positions, they were all doing it. They were all doing it. And my mom used to serve as a counselor sometimes. And my parents used to be the ones trying to settle their differences. And whatnot. So I always had that to reflect on and say, look, we both come home and defile the and unleash all kinds of nonsense. No. And then people wonder, why are my children crazy? Why am I losing contracts? Why is my business not doing well? Well, what did you let in? The Gen Z generation is not thinking that way. They're thinking that, listen, I got to get tight, I got to look right, and I got to have as many guys, I got to have as many women, because that's what's in. It's boring when you got one guy or when you got one girl.
What I always tell people, my take on it is, rather than cheat on your spouse, it is better you file for a divorce. It is way better to file for a divorce. I was in a horrible relationship myself, and when I knew I couldn't take it anymore, I filed for a divorce. I filed for a divorce and I moved on with my life. It doesn't pay for you to be in a relationship. You are married and then you are cheating with another woman or with another man. It is better you put in those divorce papers, tell your spouse you can't do this anymore, and then you walk away. That is more honorable. Walk away. But you see, some women are too caught up in the some men and some women are too caught up in the whole financial gain. You know, they have this rich husband or they have this rich wife. They don't want to let go of the Mercedes, the Bentley, the Gucci bag. So they feel they can have the best of both worlds. Stay in that marriage. Stay in that marriage and get yourself a toy boy. Stay in that marriage and get yourself a toy girl. But I tell them it isn't worth it. Leave that marriage. File for a divorce. Come out of it.
My and sense of self-worth was enough for me to say, listen, there's a big old world out there. Go have your fun. I don't need you to play Russian roulette with my life.
Exactly.
It's not for my solution. I'm out of this. You know? No hard feelings. Listen, you can build yourself back up. You can pick yourself up and rebuild you. And
Exactly.
not stay in the because I call that a whole cesspit.
Yes, it is. It is.
You know, it's a complete cesspit. And I mean, please, I can build me up and buy a Mercedes. I can build me up and buy I mean, if brands are that.
Exactly. Your life is worth more than all of those.
No, that marriage doesn't define you. It doesn't define me. I don't need anybody to define me. And I hate Tastebudz when people say, my better half, this half. No, I need to be one whole person coming together with another whole person. We're both whole and we both complement each other. I don't need a half of a person because I'm not a half of a person. Right? I am a whole figure, individual, with a brain that can make things happen. Just like you. I mean, I see, listen, if I have to watch these Tastebudz foods anymore, I'm going to keel over.
Oh my God.
I mean, please, they are just amazing. You make me like, just,
Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing food. So send me some recipes so I could.
I will. We have some uploaded on the YouTube channel. We have some food recipes uploaded on the YouTube channel. And we're uploading more.
I go there.
You do?
I do so that the day I get married, I can do it tasty.
You can whip up some good stuff.
So we need to do a meal show one day, a meal in 15 minutes on the go.
I would love that. I would love to do a meal show with your brother. You said you have a brother that is a chef.
Oh, Jesus, as long as he doesn't lip tie you, because he can go on and on and on and on with it.
I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Binta, for joining in and giving us your own view on this topic. I'm sure listeners out there would understand why women cheat and what you should do for your partner in order to prevent her from cheating. And if you want to have
Right.
a loving and a lasting relationship, I'm sure you must have learned one or two things that you shouldn't do in a relationship.
Oh, yes.
Make sure you maintain the emotional connection. Make sure you maintain that emotional connection and endeavor to help your partner in building their self-esteem. When you make your partner feel loved, they will stay in that relationship and nurture it with you. So,
Honestly, Taste, instead of dumbing down a man and making him feel insignificant because you got it, or to
yes,
do as good or as better than him, no, you always have to make a man feel important.
exactly.
Make him feel loved and wanted. I don't know what people understand by when you take vows, it's for better, it's for worse. You know, it's in sickness and health. It's
In
not
health.
till, you know, oh, for worse, for that sort of thing. These are very important. And I think you know, building up your man, telling him how wonderful is how
Exactly.
great he is and what he's doing. Deliverance. It's all in the way you speak to him. You're not speaking down to him, but rather you're speaking to him in an uplifting way.
Uplifting.
I mean, any day over anything, you know, it's very important. Very. And that shows who you are, shows who we as women are. The way we handle things determines the outcome all the time. So this has been amazing.
Thank you so much, Binta, for joining in. Thank you.
Just send me a message and I'll be on any day, anytime.
I will. I will. Bye-bye, Binta.
Sorry. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I learned
Thank you,
about
Binta.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye-bye. So that was Binta, and she shared with us her own viewpoint on this matter. And I believe that we have learned a few points from her. So some of the reasons why women cheat. We talked about lack of emotional connectivity. If you're unable to connect with your partner as a woman or as a man, if you're unable to connect with your partner, the tendency that he or she might look for emotional connectivity or emotional connection with somebody else out there is huge. So try at every point in time in your relationship to feel the pulse of the relationship. Connect with your partner in such a way that you know what is going on in their lives. You know what is going on in their minds. You know what they are passing through emotionally. Never talk down on your spouse. Never talk down on your partner. If you feel that your husband or your wife has a low self-esteem, it is your responsibility to help boost their self-esteem by pointing out all the things that makes them a wonderful person. Point out all the things about them that you love, all the things about them that endeared you to them. This will help you, or rather enable you to help them in boosting their own self-esteem. It is very important, because if you do not do this, your woman is going to go out there and peradventure find a man that will make her feel worthy, and then your relationship is going to fall apart. So sometimes women just cheat because they have low self-esteem. Sometimes they cheat because they want to revenge. As a man, as a husband, as a boyfriend, you're a serial cheat. You cheat all the time. And the woman feels it is now her turn to revenge. So she goes out on a revenge cheat. And then she starts cheating on you. So please, let's try to respect our relationship. Let's try to respect it, to uphold it for what it's worth. If you're in a marriage and your wife or your husband is constantly cheating on you, you don't want to risk your life. You don't want to risk him or her bringing an STD to you. You should file for a divorce instead of cheating on your spouse, having a side boyfriend on the side, having a girlfriend on the side, and then still maintaining that marriage is all a sham. Who are you deceiving? Come out of it honorably, file for a divorce, and then you can start dating. You can move on with your life. Why would you be sleeping with two men at the same time? It isn't emotionally healthy for you. Mentally, physically, it is not. So these are some of the reasons why women cheat. And sometimes it's just because the occasion came up. And that is the role that social media is playing. Because of social media, because of the people we keep in our social circle, sometimes a woman just finds that she's in a position where she's had too much to drink and she's chatting with a schoolmate from high school or from college. So the occasion just presents itself and it happens once and it's a one-off. So many people have contracted STDs from a one-off sexual encounter. So many people have even gotten pregnant from a one-off encounter, and because they were too ashamed to tell their spouses what happened, they now bring home a child that doesn't belong to the husband. So women, please guard yourself. Guard yourself. Ensure you know everyone in your social circle. Be open with your social media account. Let your partner have access to it. So if he sees an indiscreet chat with a man or with a college, once upon a time college sweetheart, an old flame, he can ask questions. And sometimes these questions might even save your relationship. I'm telling you. You might start off a relationship with the opposite sex, not with the intent to cheat. But then something happens one day and the occasion presents itself, and then you find yourself cheating, or it just happens just that once, and you have ruined your entire relationship. It isn't worth it. So let's know all the things that, or some of the things that can make a woman cheat, and let's try to prevent it. Pardon my emojis, sent in error, multitasking here. Let me read some of these comments. Do you know most women just like misbehaving? I am Mone Emma _1. What do you mean that most women just like misbehaving? That's not true. There is a reason for her misbehaving. There must be a reason. Yeah, sometimes it's just for sexual fantasy. She wants to outlive her sexual fantasies. Sometimes it's midlife crisis. It's not just the men that do have midlife crisis. Sometimes women do have midlife crisis. And as a partner, it is your responsibility to identify when this happens and try to talk about it with her. Try to help her come out of it. Why do some women come up with attitude, like bad attitude? Dave Jochi 112. What do you mean bad attitude? Women just come up with bad attitude. Like I said, there has to be a reason for it. And if you do not have proper communication with your woman, you might not know why the sudden attitude. The question you should ask yourself is, when you first started dating, was this the type of attitude she portrayed? If the answer is no, then have a sit down with her and find out why the sudden change of attitude. Maybe you're not communicating with her properly, you're not communicating with her emotionally. Maybe there's no more passion, or she doesn't feel love in the relationship. All of this can be talked about. It really can be. There is nothing a healthy communication cannot solve. Sometimes proper communication might bring about certain discoveries, like you're no longer compatible, you've outgrown each other, love has been lost, you can continue the relationship. You know, there is nothing a healthy conversation cannot bring about. Rap Lolu, interesting topic, but the network is making you guys speak over each other. Yeah, I noticed it at some point, but that has been sorted out now. Greetings from Portugal. Please, what's the title of the discussion? Oma_Mark1. Yeah, you're joining late. Do women cheat more than their male partners? Or has this always been the case? Do we think that presently, currently, women now cheat more than their male partners? Or has this always been the case, but because in the 20s and the 30s, women didn't have the financial prowess to live their lives, they were not properly educated, we didn't have gender equality back then, so women found it difficult to express themselves because they were suppressed. So maybe they were cheating even way back then, but it wasn't being discussed. It was a taboo. It's not something a woman should talk about because they were suppressed in that generation. So now we're talking more about it. So because we're talking more about it doesn't mean it is just happening now for the first time in history. No. Women are not just cheating for the first time since the creation of mankind. But it's just that because of the freedom, the freedom and the financial prowess that women now have, they are more confident to talk about the things that they do. So that's why we're having this conversation, and we want to know why women do these things. Why are they even cheating? If they're not satisfied in the relationship they are in, I would advise trying to communicate with your partner, try to work things out. And if you feel you've given it your best shot, like I always say, if your relationship is worth fighting for, fight for it until there is nothing left to fight for. And at that point, you can throw in the towel and say, I am out of here. It is always better for you to call it a day, leave the relationship, file for a divorce, than for you to remain in that relationship and cheat. It is not healthy for you or your partner. Do not cheat. Leave that relationship. Exit it. If you have done everything to make it work and it isn't working. Is it that some women come up with attitude during hormonal changes? Dave Joe Chi 112. Hormonal changes. Well, some people will argue, or some people will say it's that time of the month. You know, she's a little bit cranky. Yeah, women can get a little bit hormonal when it's that time of the month. Not all women, but some women. But what is there not to wait out? It's just 4 to 7 days in a month. So if you truly love a woman or you truly love your wife and she happens to be cranky 4 to 5 days in a month or 2 to 5 days in a month, that isn't enough for you to cheat on her or for you to throw in the towel in that relationship. It's not a permanent thing. It's a seasonal thing. So I believe if you truly love each other, your love can overcome such minor issues as hormonal changes. So Dave, Jochi, 112, you can overcome that. It's not a major issue. Destiny, Ify, but some people think that divorce is an abomination. Whoa. Those were some of the things that we were taught in error, especially here in Africa, where we have been taught the Bible by some people, and we haven't taken out the time to read the scriptures for what it's worth. Divorce is not an abomination. If you feel your relationship isn't working and you've tried everything possible to make it work, it is better you file for a divorce than to cheat in that relationship or to become violent in that relationship where you start hitting your partners or committing all sort of atrocities in the name of a marriage. You're better off going your separate ways. Please, do not cheat in your marriage. You're better off filing for a divorce than cheating in that marriage. It isn't healthy for you. It isn't healthy for your partner. But remember, like I would always say, fight for your relationship. Fight for it until there is nothing left to fight for. Every good relationship is worth fighting for. So thank you everyone for joining in, and that is all we're going to be discussing on today's topic. I have been having some serious issues with my YouTube live. I had some questions I wanted to answer, but the signal isn't coming up. So I'm so sorry about that. Henry _ the great 2000, thanks. Thank you, Henry, for constantly joining in, for your support and for your contribution every time to this program. We appreciate you. King Ayodele, we love you too. Being brainwashed is a disease, because this is why a lot of marriages is suffering today. Yes, a lot of marriages is suffering today from the misconception of the things we have been taught in the past. And it is our own responsibility to unlearn the errors and learn what we need for a fruitful life. Wisdom always pays off, and ignorance is never an excuse. So let us learn. Let us learn what it takes to nurture a healthy relationship where our women don't cheat on us, they shower us with love, they make us feel like the men that we are, and in return, we would love you. So please, love your woman, and please, to the women out there, love your men. Make them feel like the prince in shining armor that they are. And I believe you will have a fruitful relationship. Thank you all for joining in. I love you. Thank you for joining in. And remember to subscribe to this channel. That is, if you haven't already subscribed, it is www.youtube.com/tastebudzng. And we do have loads of cooking recipes on this channel for you. So if you love African food, you love Nigerian food, this is your go-to channel. Thank you for joining in, and see you same time next week. Bye-bye.